I want to first welcome you all to the Elevate 2026 info session. So glad you can make it. I'm Keely O'Sullivan Kurtz, the Director of CNP Programs at the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance, headquartered in Kansas City, Missouri. The Alliance is your host for Elevate. With me today is my colleague, Jaleesa. Hey, Jaleesa.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jaleesa Davis, CNP. I am here in Metro Atlanta, Georgia, and soaking up this fall winter that we have. But I'm so glad that you all are here to learn more about Elevate, and I can pass it to Debbie.
Thank you, Jaleesa, and thank you, Keely, and welcome everybody. I'm Debbie Roman. I earned my CNP back in 2022, and I am the proud chair of this year's conference. And I've been involved with Elevate for the last 3 years, almost 4 now. It's great to have you all here, be able to learn a little bit about this session and what this next year's conference is going to bring. If there are any, it's not only me. So there are other members that are part of this, of organizing this phenomenal virtual conference for all of you, and to tell you a little bit more about that. So if you are a committee member for this year's conference, please raise your hand. We would like to highlight you and be able to then later on during our presentation be able to put you to share your experiences as well. So thank you everybody for joining us on this Friday. So happy Friday. And I look forward to seeing all the questions in the chat and start a very fruitful and productive conversation as we make our way into Elevate 2026. So Keely, with that, I'll pass it over to you. And I see somebody raised their hand. So nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And we will circle back with the committee members as well.
Yes, good to see you, Cherie. And I see Williams here and one other one that I saw. And Wayne, yes, I see you all are here. So thank you for joining us. We'll certainly have some questions for you to share your experience as Elevate Planning Committee members and attendees at Elevate. So with that in mind, let's talk about our agenda for our session here today. We're going to talk about what Elevate really is. We'll give you a high-level review of the conference in terms of its tracks and its format. And then we'll also spend some time talking about how you can make the most of the conference as an attendee. And as Debbie mentioned, we do have our Elevate Planning Committee members, our volunteers who are planning the committee, who have been to Elevate or who are excited to go to their first Elevate here to share a little bit of their perspective on the conference. We do have time allocated at the end for our attendees to share questions that you might have for staff or the planning committee. We do have that time at the end, but don't be shy. Please hop in that chat and we'll have some breaks along the way to answer those questions. And last but certainly not the least, there is a discount for Elevate. Because you're attending today's info session, we do have a discount that we will share with you at the end that we hope you take advantage of. Okay, Jaleesa, tell us a little bit about NLA.
Alrighty, so for those of you who this is your first time experiencing us, NLA is the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance. We've been around for over 75 years. We primarily are known for our CNP programs, which are our Certified Nonprofit Professional program, and also a Leaderosity, which is our training course that folks can take. And we also have our ACNP that you may hear a little bit more about as time goes on. We also have a network of over 12,800 CNPs who have gone through our program. We have national and international. So that's another perk of making the most of Elevate. You get to connect with people from all around the world. And also we have over 20,000 nonprofit leaders who have gone through our Leaderosity training. So you'll get to experience just a dabble of what that could be like. And then the last thing that I have for you, this is our 12th year of Elevate. That's a really big deal. So I hope that you all make the most of this information that we're about to share with you, because this is completely virtual and we want you to absolutely soak up everything we have to offer here. All right, so shifting gears, now we're gonna get deeper down. So Elevate is one really great way to connect with other nonprofit professionals in the space. Whether you're new here, you've been around for a minute, Elevate is our 3-day virtual conference. Virtual, which means you get to pick and choose a lot of what you want to do, see, share, experience. So keep that in mind. And some of the things that we primarily focus on is to help our audience have a better understanding of what's happening in the sector. Where do we think it's going? And also just to help you have use tools for the sector that you can even take back to your organization and share with, hey, this is what I learned, or hey, this is something that we may need to consider. But overall, just to sum it up, it's a great opportunity for you to connect with other people who are like-minded, who want to do good, want to come together, want to help each other out. So I hope that you all make the most of this experience with us.
So as Jaleesa was mentioning, there is a lot happening at Elevate. And whenever you purchase a ticket for Elevate, you have access to everything. There are 3 tracks of content. We'll talk about those at length. These tracks have a wide variety of different sessions. This content that is selected for Elevate is determined by our planning committee. These are students and practitioners in the nonprofit sector who really have their finger on the pulse of what's important for our leaders to know now and what they need to prepare for in the future. So that is what makes up our tracks. We also know that one of the most powerful elements of Elevate is the networking. We have distinct networking opportunities that are built into the schedule so that you can connect with those other leaders in the social sector and share what's on your mind and share resources and receive those resources from people doing the work across the country and internationally. There are so many resources that attendees get access to during the conference and after. So many of our presenters are generous with their time and their tools and their resources, and you as an attendee get to download those items and take them back to the communities that you serve. And then last but certainly not the least, you have access to, after attending Elevate, you fill out a form called our digital badge form that will give you a digital badge to really evidence the knowledge and the education you earned at Elevate. And you get that metadata associated with that digital badge. I want to dive into a little bit more of what these tracks are. I know there are so many conversations happening in the sector right now, and these are the tracks that really bubbled to the top. The first one is the sustainability of self. This track is really going to focus on those practical strategies that nonprofit professionals can focus on to prioritize their wellness, build resilience, and prevent burnout. Attendees at Elevate will get to explore sustainable habits, boundary setting techniques, and also how organizations at the organization level can help promote a culture that is sustainable for employees. The next track of content is your career every step of the way. And the planning committee was really intentional with these sessions, wanting to make sure that the session spoke to nonprofit professionals, no matter where they're at in their nonprofit career, whether they are just starting out or they're at the executive level wanting to make a pivot. There is something on this track for you. There's also tech lessons, the good, the bad, and the must-haves. This track dives into the essential tools that drive mission impact while addressing the common pitfalls and challenges that many of us are familiar with in the nonprofit sector. The next slide really goes into the different kinds of session formats that attendees can expect at Elevate. But I want to take a quick pause and I want to tee up our committee members, Debbie or any of our members, if you want to share anything about why these tracks were selected or really anything you'd like to share with our attendees at this meeting right now.
Sure, Keely. I can kick us off, and I invite my colleagues in the committee to also unmute and share as well. I will talk a little bit about the tracks for this year. I feel very much identified with these topics. I think as a leader that has been in the nonprofit sector for over 20 years, specifically in workforce development, I have been experiencing some of these and I can personally benefit. So when we were in the process of thinking through what may be some of the topics, I did put my nonprofit hat in the mix, and also as my colleagues in the ecosystem, at least here in New York, like what are some of the questions that we're asking ourselves, that we feel we need given variables and things that are our control? What do we want to be focusing on? And as nonprofit leaders, a lot of the work is about how do you maintain enthusiasm and optimism during difficult times. So that's why for me personally, the sustainability to self is very important because it's about focusing on being able to um, address or stay consistent even when the work gets hard, because it will. So that was just a personal note and something that as I've experienced in not in previous conferences, is that the conversations and the topics really are relatable to the everyday, as a nonprofit leader.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Debbie. Any other quick tidbits, or not quick, just tidbits from our other Elevate Planning Committee members?
Yes, I can speak on it. Hello, everyone. I just want to speak about Elevate as a whole. You'll definitely receive return on your investment. I think it's great because, as they say, the old cliche, iron sharpens iron. So just being in the different sessions and hearing about the best practices and trends is always a great tool, to take back to your organization and put into practice. So just overall, I definitely think everyone will be pleased with the conference because last year was phenomenal.
Appreciate that, William. I also have to say William was one of our presenters last year and had a stellar session. So glad he came back to be on our Elevate Planning Committee.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, y'all, we'll keep on moving along. So the sessions at this virtual conference, I think it's helpful to go through the different session formats, because if you've gone to an in-person conference or a different virtual conference, I feel like everyone does it a little bit differently. And so we want to make sure you have a sense of, one, what to expect to Elevate, and then two, what you're really getting into when it comes to these particular sessions. So at Elevate 2026, you can expect what we call our 9 on-demand breakout sessions. So essentially, there are 3 of these pre-recorded or on-demand sessions in each of our tracks. So there are 9 total. These sessions, in the past, we actually had them be very, very short. They were 20 minutes in length, but we changed that this year. They are 45 minutes in length. And one neat thing about that is that they will now be eligible for CFRE credit. So any of our fundraisers that are CFREs, you can now count those breakout sessions toward those credit hours. So we will have 9 of these on-demand sessions, 3 per track, that you can attend during the conference. These sessions, they are, as I mentioned, pre-recorded, but they do have a designated spot on the conference agenda. And so once you can attend it once it goes live on the agenda, but then let's say, it's after 5 p.m. and the conference is done for the day, you can instantly go and watch those other sessions, those other on-demand sessions that were live that day. We also have 3 live workshops. These are longer form, hands-on live sessions where you get to interact with the presenter who's leading you through some tools or processes. You have moments of reflection. They're really engaging sessions. We will have 1 live workshop per track and 1 live workshop per day. Additionally, we have 3 live panel sessions. These are sessions where we've brought together, 2 to 4 nonprofit professionals, leaders in the sector, to talk about a particular topic. These are such poignant, fun, excellent sessions where you get, or conversations where you get to hear from these nonprofit professionals, and oftentimes they are situated so that you can submit your questions and get your questions answered live from the panelists. I love our panels. So again, there are 3 of those, and they're live and they happen once per day. I want to take a quick note or make a quick note. Y'all are busy professionals and busy students who are attending the conference. And so while we do have live events and on-demand events, regardless of the session, live or on demand, everything is recorded. And so let's say, you are unable to attend day 1 of the conference. We hope you're able to attend live, but it's okay if you can't. You will have access to the recorded versions of all of the content through the end of March, actually. So don't fret if you can't make every live session. I wanted to give you that quick note because I don't think we've mentioned it yet. All right, moving right along, we also have 2 live keynote sessions that bookend the conference. So we'll have one on day 1, and we'll have a live keynote on day 2, or on day 3, sorry, to end the conference. These are leaders in the sector, and this year we actually have a state representative, Anna Escamani. She is a certified nonprofit professional, and she's actually ending the conference for us. So really great keynote speakers. Very excited to hear what they have to say. Additionally, we have a lot of engagement activities built into the schedule at Elevate. We have a game night. In the past, we've done things like virtual scavenger hunts and bingo nights, really a chance for you to have fun and connect with other attendees and also win prizes. Those are always a hit. We build in a coffee break where you get to connect on a one-on-one basis with other attendees in a very relaxed, chill environment and get to know other attendees. We also have, backed by popular demand, we have a documentary night where we have a screening of a documentary that has commentary on our world today in the nonprofit sector that we will watch. And then there's always a time for us to connect live after the documentary to share our reflections and our takeaways from the documentary. In summary, it's a lot of fun. I wanted to pause again. Jaleesa, Elevate Planning Committee members, any NLA staff, are there any other things you would add to this, or are there any questions in the chat that we can address before we move along? Let me hop
I don't
over
have any
to-
questions in the chat just yet.
Okay.
The only tidbit that I would share is once we have our schedule out, definitely make the most, add it to your calendar so you can be reminded. It's just a really great opportunity. So I really hope that you all dive in there and join us for Elevate because it's really flexible, quite honestly.
Totally. I mean, we made Elevate with a professional and a busy student in mind. And so the schedule, which isn't live quite yet, but should be live by the end of December, we really kick Elevate off usually around 11 a.m. Central on that Tuesday, so the 24th of February. Content usually wraps up around 5:30 or 6 p.m. Central on that first night. Wednesday, it's a full day of programming, and then Friday, we usually wrap around 1 or 2 p.m. Central. So we are in the thick of confirming with our speakers and finalizing that agenda, but it'll be announced very, very soon. Let me see. Ooh, and I'm seeing some love for the different tracks and the different tracks in the chat is where I'm seeing that love. And I'm really glad to hear that. It is a really fun challenge, I think, every year that the committee a fun and challenging process that the committee undertakes to get tracks that speak to the experience of nonprofit professionals today. All righty, y'all, let's keep on going. Oh, yes. We talked about the digital badge earlier. Just wanted to give you a sense of what this has looked like in the past and what you can expect for the digital badge this year. Again, it shows your let me take a step back. What you will need to do to earn the digital badge is, of course, attend Elevate, and there will be a form available to all attendees that asks a little bit about your experience and what sessions you attended. You'll need to attend 3 of the on-demand sessions. You'll need to go to at least 2 of the workshops and 2 of the panels and both keynotes, as well as one of our engagement activities. You will do, the form will walk you through all of that, and you'll know exactly what you need to do to satisfy the requirements for the digital badge. Once you have the digital badge, you can share it on your socials to really evidence what learning you completed at the conference. You'll see the digital badge that we had for Elevate 2025 on the screen, and so that will be updated for Elevate 2026. I also want to make a quick note. Many attendees at Elevate are folks in the nonprofit sector who are doing good work and want to work on their professional development. We also have a lot of our certified nonprofit professionals, our CNPs and our advanced CNPs who come to Elevate each year. Additionally, many of our attendees are working toward their certified nonprofit professional credential because attendance at the conference is a requirement for that. At a conference is a requirement for the CNP. And so I just want to put a quick note in today's session for our learners who are pursuing the CNP. In order for Elevate to satisfy your requirement for the credential, you'll also need to fill out that digital badge form. I know, Debbie, I feel like you've chatted about the importance of digital badges in the past. Can you share? I feel like you have a really good perspective on why they're helpful.
Absolutely. And as you were speaking, I was looking on my LinkedIn profile because again, it's how do you use this for your benefit and how do you highlight it on your profile, right? We are as strong as the network that we have that surrounds us. And obviously these are credentials and information that really continues to build up the skill sets and techniques to continue to grow as a nonprofit leader in this always moving environment. So for me, I use them within my LinkedIn profile a lot. So one of the great things about this is that once you earned your badge, you can proudly post it with your own experiences about what Elevate has provided you and what you've learned on your LinkedIn profile, but you can also use it either in your email signature or something to that nature where you can continue to let people know. I'm one that I also put very similar to my MBA. I also put my CNP and I'm working towards my ACNP as well. So that is something that really just elevates about the type of skill sets that you bring to the conversation as you're positioning yourself in other rooms and just making connections with others. It's just really a valuable tool to have and a valuable opportunity to have.
Thanks for sharing, Debbie. And that's actually a really good segue to talk about the community at Elevate 2026. I didn't know. Jaleesa, did you want to speak to that a little bit? Oh, you know what? Strike that. Let me start and you can fill in the blanks. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Sorry about that. I think, to Debbie's point, we're only as strong as our network. And the thing about Elevate 2026 is that it brings together nonprofit professionals and leaders that have a desire to learn more so that we can take that knowledge back to our communities and make an even bigger impact. So regardless if you're connecting with someone who's just starting out in the nonprofit sector or someone who's been in the sector for decades, our through line is that we want to do good. And one way that we're able to do that is by investing in our professional development and going to conferences like Elevate that give us those tools to make a bigger impact. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the actual networking sessions at Elevate because they are varied, and I think there's a little bit of something for everyone. So we do have some of those really casual, low stakes networking events. So like our bingo night. We also, during all of our sessions, there's the chat, and I can speak to previous Elevates, the chat is hopping. There are people who are in there who are sharing a lot, sharing their perspectives. We often get requests from Elevate as well as other live sessions that the Alliance hosts to share the chat, because people are so giving with the information they share in the chat. Also, I mentioned how generous our speakers are at Elevate with their tools and resources. They are also so generous with their connections. So during the sessions, you get to engage directly with these national thought leaders, and it is so rewarding. And I love it because our attendees not only share a lot during the chat, but they also keep our speakers on their toes, and that's a lot of fun. So Elevate has a mix. Oh, the other one I wanted to mention is we do have the coffee chat that I mentioned earlier, where you get to connect with folks one-on-one. That's a lot of fun. But we are also ideating right now on how to kind of set up some mentorship during Elevate. So whether you're wanting to get your first role or you're thinking about that pivot, we're really brainstorming how to get people together with common goals in their career. We're trying to figure out how to do that. So that one is something that we're ideating for Elevate 2026, and I'm excited to bring it to y'all. Anything else, Jaleesa, that I'm forgetting here?
There's not anything that's coming top of mind, but I would love to see, even in our chat, what our audience members be interested in at Elevate, whether it's the live sessions, the chats, game night, anything. I would love to see some of that in the chat, but no, I have nothing else to add.
Can I?
Please,
This is
Debbie.
great. I do want to add something as you both were talking in regards to what is the difference of Elevate versus other conferences or even any other sort of leadership skill set development trainings, is because I've done a few. I've done everything from American Express Leadership Academy, which is how I came across the CNP certification, and others throughout the years, obviously. But I do have to say that engaging in this particular conference and in this particular community, it's long term. I received my CNP, as I mentioned earlier, in 2022, but I've been able to stay engaged year after year because of the real time, real life practices and experiences from the speakers, from the community, that happened during this space that is dedicated just for that. So I just wanted to point that out because I realized that was something that was one of the main reasons why I stay very engaged in this community as a whole.
Excellent. Thank you, Debbie.
I have one question, if you would like to maybe elaborate
I
on
love
it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
Debbie.
Jaleesa, what is that question?
So we were asked, are there any roundtables?
Oh, yeah. So we don't currently have any roundtable discussions planned, but we are investigating ways to get small group discussions together. And so that's a really good question, Craig. We don't have them on the agenda yet, but I love that you brought it up, because not only did you bring it up, but a different volunteer group was talking about this very thing yesterday. And so we are figuring out how we could bring that to Elevate 2026. So thank you for mentioning that. I love it. When these sort of things get brought up by more than one individual or group, that means that there is a need and we are eager to meet that need. Cool. Okay, well, I feel like I've talked a whole lot, and I want to hear more from our Elevate Planning Committee members. Here are a few questions. So, committee members, what did you think has worked well at past Elevates? I feel like we might have touched on this a little bit. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The networking aspect of Elevate is always a great gift, because you can broaden your horizons, speak to different individuals. Like I said, be a sounding board. So that's one of the great things that came from Elevate.
Oh,
from
and
my
you made me,
perspective.
I appreciate you sharing that, William, and it made me remember something that I think is important to share. Elevate has been around for 12 years, and this is actually our second year on a really great conference. It's a new conference platform for us, and it's really intended to connect individuals at the conference. And one small but impactful way that the platform does this is that every attendee at Elevate, you'll be able to, in your profile, share a little bit about yourself and link to your LinkedIn profile. And so we really encourage you all to connect during the conference and then to continue those connections after the conference. And so those little moments of connection, I think, help build the connected vibe at the conference and carry on afterward. Okay. This is, especially for our Elevate Planning Committee members who've been to several Elevates, I'm wondering if they could share any standout sessions that have stuck with you through the years from previous Elevates. I think I can share one for myself. That was one of the reasons we really teed up the one of the things that made us think about the sustainability of Self Track this year is that last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, we had a panel it was a panel of 3, and they were talking about the different perspectives of how to, regardless if you're a new employee or the leader of an organization, what do you do to ensure that your organization has a culture that makes you want to stick around? And so the different perspectives from these professionals, there's a fundraising professional, a workforce professional, just these different subsectors of the nonprofit sector were represented, and these individuals were able to share through their lived experiences what has worked and what has not worked to build that kind of culture. Ooh, and I'm seeing a couple of these notes in the chat, and someone shared about the session about working with multi-generational teams. I feel like I know exactly the session you're talking about, and it was so good. I'm glad you highlighted that. I haven't thought about that one in a while.
I
Excellent.
can jump in here, Keely.
Oh, yes, please.
So I think
Thanks,
for
Sheree.
me, there was one session that talked about privilege and turning privilege into change. And
Yeah.
they talked a lot about the awareness aspect and different types of awareness. So like awareness of the interpersonal, awareness of the individual, and the institutional. So I think that really stuck with me. And they gave us a lot of PowerPoint slides that I was able to take back and integrate into my nonprofit and that sort of thing. So I think that's one that definitely sticks out to me.
I think I know the exact session you're talking about as well, and very good one. I think that was a workshop too. Excellent. Okay, thank you so much, Elevate Planning Committee. Oh, and I know we've talked about this, and I think I might have touched on this a little bit, but how have you all stayed in contact with attendees from the conference in the past?
LinkedIn for me.
Yeah.
Heavy on LinkedIn. That's been amazing.
I will also say from the Nonprofit Leadership Alliance perspective, we have, we know that all of the sessions at Elevate are going to be spectacular, but there are always some that really especially resonate with attendees. And so we have in the past, based on attendee experience, held, after Elevate coffee breaks or follow-up sessions to continue to reflect on some of those sessions that have really stuck with people. So we've kind of built in some of those continual follow-ups and networking opportunities. Okay. Well, thank you all for sharing that. Jaleesa, talk to us about registering.
I did also see one other question in the chat. Would you like me to save that for afterwards, or okay?
Let's do it right now. Let's answer it.
Okay, so the question that we had was, can you please provide a little bit more information about the career track? What can be expected?
The career track, yes. Okay, I'm thinking about those sessions. So again, the overall objective is to make sure that no matter where you're at in your career, you're able to take that next step. So I know there's one explicit session on networking and what that looks like in today's world with AI and tech and how to make those meaningful connections, whether you're in person or virtual. Other sessions on the career track is how to build a career that is in the nonprofit sector that is meaningful to you and aligns with your values. Let me think about the other sessions. Those are the main two that are coming to my brain. I'm thinking, Jaleesa, I know I'm forgetting at least 3 other sessions, other topics that are coming to your brain right quick.
Not in specific, but I can just co-sign that wherever you are in your designated space as a professional, there will be
Yeah.
something that you can gather and take back and hold on to. There'll be something to relate to. So I guess you'll just have to come to Elevate and check out what the career track is all about.
Totally. And again, we are Jaleesa in particular is in the thick of confirming all of our speakers. And so we will be able to start announcing them very, very soon. So you can get your arms around exactly the kind of session, who's there, and what they're talking about. Good question. Back to you, Jaleesa.
Alrighty, so now on this lovely screen that you see before you, we have information on how to register for Elevate. And so lucky for you, you stuck around and you also get the discount code. So before we get all of the excitement around that, there's 2 distinctions. So one, if you are a CNP learner right now, you have ongoing access to this discounted rate. When you are ready to register for Elevate as a CNP learner, make sure you're logged into CNP Central as a learner. Make sure you're logged in. That's 1. 2, if you aren't a CNP learner, you can still access the discount rate by simply scanning what you see on your screen and also entering this discount code. We'll also make sure that you all have this even in the event you cannot actively scan QR codes right now. So we'll make sure that you have that so you can reference at a later time as well. And I'm also going to post the registration link in the chat and pin it so that you can save that.
And I see a really excellent question in the chat from Chloe about sharing this discount with her group of students. We actually do have group discounts. So in your case, I really recommend you email elevate@nla1.org because we do have discounts based on your group size. And we would love to talk to you about that so that we can make Elevate affordable for you and your students. Good question.
Great question.
Ooh, and someone is asking us to confirm the dates for Elevate, Jaleesa. It is February 24th through 26th of 2026, which is going to be here so quickly before we know it.
We know it. Before we know it, it will be here. All right.
So what happens? Oh, sorry, Jaleesa, I cut you off. Please continue.
No, you're fine. I'm having issues, but you all will have the registration link.
So what happens next? I encourage you all to take advantage of that 10% discount before the December 21 deadline. Make sure you get that 10% off. And I do, not to complicate things a little bit more, if you are a learner on the CNP professional track. So I know Tom, he is here from the professional track. If you're in the 6-month cohort, you already paid for your Elevate registration, so don't register again. We'll register for you, just as a quick side note. So professional track learners do not register. Everyone else, please register with that 10% discount. What you can expect leading up to Elevate's go live of February 24th is we will be sending attendee only emails as we announce more and more of the speakers, as we finalize, as we announce our documentary and the ins and outs of the agenda. Once you register, you'll start getting those emails and they will certainly be heating up as we get to Elevate. Speaking of Elevate, a couple of things to do before you attend. One, make sure you do update that LinkedIn profile. It will certainly be getting hits at Elevate. So make sure it's viewer ready. As we get close to the conference and you're getting those attendee emails, you will also get instructions. It's usually that Friday before Elevate. You'll get instructions on how to log into the platform. This will give you a sense of how to set up your profile in the conference, how to navigate to the different stages, to see the different tracks, all of that. So you will, again, it's usually that Friday before the conference, get those login instructions. I recommend you get in there, set up your profile, and start clicking around so that you feel comfort with the platform. And then, you know, the conference will really get going on that Tuesday, the 24th, with some live sessions and all of the goodness that is Elevate. We've talked about this a little bit. The 3 big live days that are full of engagement are the 24th to the 26th, but we do allow the content to be viewable through the end of March 31st. So you can continue to log in, continue on those discussion boards and on the discussion boards and, you know, sharing your reflections, engaging with the content through the end of March. And that's also when the digital badge form is due, so that you can get that digital badge. And also, if you're pursuing your CNP, you can get that requirement checked off. Any questions about what happens next?
Seems like most of the questions so far have been answered in the chat.
I love that. That was really the main things we wanted to talk about from the attendee perspective. We did want to note that, you know, Elevate there are sponsorship opportunities. These include things like you could host a virtual booth and give away resources to attendees that attend your booth, or, you know, maybe you want your organization's logo to be included on the website, or there are a variety of packages that are available to nonprofit organizations. So if you think your organization might be interested in sponsoring Elevate in some way and being part of the conference, please, please, please email our colleague Erica at erica@nla1.org. She just got married, and so I almost said Davis, and that's not her last name anymore. So we hope you do consider sponsoring Elevate. And we do have time for questions. I'm not seeing any more come in. Let me hop back over here. I am seeing some folks share their LinkedIns in the chat. That is so welcome. Thank you for doing that. Glad that the dates make it so that people can attend the live Elevate. Because again, the content that is accessible to Elevate attendees when it's recorded is excellent, but there is something special about attending the live event. Okay. My very final thoughts. Many of you are part of the CNP community or working towards your CNP. If you aren't and you are here in CNP for the first time, I just want to let you know that there is an opportunity. Our 6-month virtual cohort for nonprofit professionals, if you have at least a year of experience in the nonprofit sector. Our next cohort kicks off January 26th. It's a 6-month virtual program that goes through 6 different courses of content. It's a really great opportunity to you get to choose a nonprofit to focus your work on, and over that 6 months you apply what you were learning in each of those courses to that nonprofit organization. And at the end of the program, you have this excellent portfolio of learning to reflect all, just all of the knowledge that you have and recommendations for the organization that you selected. So if you are interested in learning more about the CNP program in general or the professional track in particular, let's post. I don't know, Jaleesa, are you able to post your Calendly so folks can maybe read? Oh, you already did it. Look at you go. If you have questions, I hope you connect with Jaleesa about the CNP program. She is a wealth of knowledge and can answer all of your questions. Okay, so that really does conclude the content that we have. If there are any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask or you want to follow up on, please email us at elevate@nla1.org. We look forward to answering those questions about the conference. I want to give our 3 Elevate Planning Committee members today who are able to join us a shout out. Thank you for your time, expertise, and work on the committee. Elevate doesn't happen without these excellent leaders in the sector. So glad that they're a part of the committee and also spending their time today helping out. So that's all we have, y'all. I hope you all stay warm and have an excellent, excellent Friday. I also hope to see you at Elevate 2026.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.